You weren't broken. You were being rebuilt by Earl Nightingale. Lesson 1. Your Life Purpose. I'd like to share with you what I consider to be the strangest secret in the world. This secret has been understood by wise men since the dawn of time. It's mentioned in the Bible, in the writings of ancient philosophers, and in the works of great thinkers throughout history. Yet for most people, it remains hidden in plain sight. Here it is. We become what we think about. Think about that for a moment. The mind moves in the direction of our currently dominant thoughts. Like a magnet, your thoughts pull you toward their physical equivalent. If you think about courage and confidence, you'll gradually develop these qualities. If you think about fear and failure, these too will become your reality. Look around at the people you know. Have you ever wondered why so many drift through life without direction? They may have dreams and desires, but those dreams remain unfulfilled year after year. There's a tremendous gap between what they want and what they achieve. The reason is surprisingly simple. Their thoughts are not aligned with their desires. The average person approaches life reactively. They respond to whatever demands their attention in the moment. Problems at work, bills to pay, or the latest distraction on television. Their thoughts bounce randomly from one subject to another without focus or direction. Is it any wonder they feel like life is happening to them rather than for them? The successful person, by contrast, has learned the secret. They've discovered how to direct their thoughts deliberately. They've trained themselves to think about what they want to become, not what they fear. They focus on solutions rather than problems, opportunities rather than obstacles. Consider a farmer who plants corn. He doesn't worry whether the soil will transform his seeds into tomatoes or wheat. He knows that corn seeds produce corn just as surely as apple seeds produce apple trees. Your thoughts are seeds, and the harvest you reap will always correspond to what you've planted. I remember talking with a young woman named Sarah who worked as a clerk in a department store. She had dreams of becoming a teacher, but believed she lacked the necessary education and resources. When I explained the principle that we become what we think about, something clicked for her. She began directing her thoughts toward her goal every morning. Within 2 years, she had enrolled in college, earned a scholarship, and was well on her way to achieving her dream. Starting tomorrow, try this simple exercise. Begin your day by thinking deliberately about what you want to become. Take just 5 minutes before your regular routine to picture yourself already in possession of the qualities and circumstances you desire. Do this with faith and persistence, and you'll be amazed at how your life begins to transform. Remember, the difference between success and failure is not intelligence, opportunity, or luck. It's the direction of your thoughts. The strangest secret is that your mind is the one thing over which you have complete control, yet it's the very thing most people never learn to use effectively. You weren't broken. You were being prepared for rebuilding, and that rebuilding begins with taking control of your thoughts. Lesson 2. The Acre of Diamonds Within. Have you ever pondered the curious tendency we humans have to search far and wide for treasures that are often right beneath our feet? I'd like to share with you the remarkable story of Ali Haft, a content farmer who lived many years ago in ancient Persia. Ali Haft owned orchards, fields, and gardens. He had a lovely family and ample money for his needs. One evening, a wise old priest visited and told Ali about diamonds so valuable that a handful could purchase a country. Ali went to bed that night a poor man, not financially poor, but poor in spirit, discontented with what he had. Ali sold his farm, left his family, and traveled far and wide searching for diamonds. Years passed as he wandered through Palestine, Europe, and eventually to Barcelona. Broke, disappointed, and in despair, he cast himself into the sea. Meanwhile, the man who purchased Ali's farm one day noticed a curious flash of light from a black stone in a stream that ran through the property. That stream was filled with diamonds. The farm Ali had sold to search for fortunes elsewhere turned out to be the magnificent diamond mine of Golconda, one of the most valuable diamond discoveries in history. This ancient parable teaches us a profound truth. The resources, talents, and opportunities we seek are often already within our possession or within our reach. We simply fail to recognize them. You see, most people live their lives like Ali Haft, believing that what they need for fulfillment and success must be found somewhere else, in some distant place. They overlook the acre of diamonds in their own backyard. What unique talents do you possess that you've never fully developed? What special experiences have shaped your understanding in ways others might value? What problems do you solve naturally that others struggle with? Consider the case of Mary Anderson. While visiting New York City on a snowy day in 1902, she noticed streetcar drivers constantly stopping to clear snow from their windshields. Where others saw merely an inconvenience, Mary saw an opportunity. She invented the windshield wiper, a simple solution using existing knowledge and materials that was literally in front of everyone's face. Or take the example of Richard, a young man I once knew who worked as a delivery driver. Rather than seeing his job as merely transporting packages, he recognized his natural gift for remembering details about his customers. He built such strong relationships that when he eventually opened his own small business, those same customers became his first clients. The principle is clear. Use what you have where you are. Begin with honest self-assessment. What abilities have you undervalued? What resources have you overlooked? Tonight, take inventory of your own acre of diamonds. List 5 natural talents you possess, 5 resources already available to you, and 5 opportunities within your current circumstances. You may be startled to discover the wealth that has been waiting for your recognition. Remember, you need not search the world for what you already possess within. The diamonds you seek may be right where you stand, waiting only for you to recognize their value. Lesson 3. Attitude, the magic ingredient. My friends, today I want to talk to you about the most powerful force at your disposal, attitude. It's the magic ingredient that separates those who achieve from those who achieve from those who merely wish. I've studied the lives of successful men and women for many years, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that attitude determines outcome far more than circumstance ever could. Have you ever noticed how 2 people can face identical situations yet experience completely different results? One rises to the challenge while the other crumbles beneath it. The difference isn't found in their talents or opportunities, but in the attitudes they bring to their challenges. Your attitude is the chemistry of your mind, and it affects your body, your environment, and everyone around you. When you maintain an attitude of expectancy and enthusiasm, you become a magnet for opportunity. People are drawn to you. Obstacles seem smaller. Solutions appear where none existed before. But remember, I'm not merely speaking of positive thinking. There's an important distinction between positive thinking and constructive thinking. Positive thinking without action is little more than wishful thinking. Constructive thinking combines optimism with realistic assessment and deliberate action. It's not enough to believe you can succeed. You must also understand what's required and be willing to pay the price. Consider the story of Thomas Edison. When his laboratory burned to the ground, destroying years of work and records, he didn't despair. Instead, he famously said, "There is great value in disaster. All our mistakes are burned up. Thank God we can start anew." By the next morning, he had his men working to rebuild. That wasn't mere positive thinking. It was a constructive attitude that transformed potential defeat into ultimate victory. Your attitude is entirely within your control. No one can force you to have a poor attitude without your permission. This means that regardless of what happens to you, you always retain the power to choose your response. And in that choice lies your freedom and your future. I challenge you to begin a 30-day attitude adjustment program starting today. Each morning when you awake, decide that regardless of what comes your way, you will respond with a constructive attitude. Look for the advantage in every difficulty. Seek the lesson in every setback. Find the opportunity in every challenge. When faced with rain, consider the flowers it will nourish. When confronted with obstacles, focus on the strength you'll develop in overcoming them. When dealing with difficult people, look for what they can teach you about patience and understanding. History is filled with examples of people who achieved greatness not because they were free from problems, but because of their attitudinal advantage. Helen Keller, born blind and deaf, became an international symbol of courage. Abraham Lincoln, failing repeatedly in business and politics before becoming president, never allowed defeat to define him. Your attitude is the lens through which you view the world, and that view becomes your reality. Change your attitude, and you change your attitude, and you change your world. It truly is the magic ingredient that transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary achievements. Lesson 4. The Harvest of Thought. My good friend, have you ever planted a garden? If so, you understand a profound truth about life that many people never grasp. The seed you place in the soil today isn't visible tomorrow, and for days afterward, nothing seems to happen. The casual observer might conclude that nothing is happening at all. But beneath the surface, in the darkness of the soil, a miracle is unfolding. The seed is germinating, extending roots, gathering strength until one day, inevitably, it breaks through to the light. This is precisely how the harvest of thought works in your mind and life. The thoughts you plant today, your dominant, consistent thoughts, are growing beneath the surface of your conscious awareness. And just as surely as the planted seed will yield its harvest, your thoughts will manifest as conditions, circumstances, and realities in your life. Most people don't understand this magnificent law. They plant seeds of doubt, worry, and fear in the morning, then seeds of ambition in the afternoon, followed by seeds of confusion in the evening. They plant weeds and flowers intermixed and wonder why their garden yields such unpredictable results. The successful person understands that mental planting requires the same care as a physical garden. They select their thought, seeds with precision, water them with belief, fertilize them with imagination, and protect them from the weeds of negative influence. They understand that there is a natural gestation period between planting and harvesting. Here's why most people quit before their harvest. They lack patience with the natural law of growth. They plant a thought, seed of prosperity on Monday, dig it up on Friday to see if it's growing, then declare the process a failure by the following week. Would any farmer expect results with such impatience? Your mind is the most fertile soil in the universe. Whatever thought, seeds you plant will return to you multiplied. Plant courage, and you'll harvest confidence. Plant generosity, and you'll harvest abundance. Plant learning, and you'll harvest wisdom. Begin today to establish your mental garden. Set aside time each morning to plant the thoughts you wish to see grow in your life. Write them down, speak them aloud, visualize them in vivid detail. Then, and this is crucial, allow them to grow. Don't dig them up with doubt. Don't wash them away with worry. Trust the natural process. I once spoke with a man who had transformed his life from debt to abundance in just 3 years. "What was your secret?" I asked him. His answer was profound in its simplicity. "I decided what I wanted, planted that thought deeply in my mind, and then went about my business with absolute certainty that it was growing, even when I couldn't see it. I never questioned the harvest. I just kept tending the soil." Remember, friend, that the harvest of thought follows a divine pattern. What you consistently think about grows. What grows eventually appears as your life experience. This is not mysticism. It's a practical law as reliable as gravity. Your thoughts are things, the most powerful things in the universe. Use them wisely, plant them intentionally, nurture them patiently, and your life will yield a harvest beyond your grandest dreams. Lesson 5. Worthy Destinations. My friends, the greatest tragedy in life isn't death, but rather what dies inside us while we live, and what perishes most commonly is the clear vision of a worthy destination. Have you ever watched a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly at the mercy of every current and wind? This is precisely how most people navigate the ocean of life, without direction, without purpose, without a worthy destination clearly fixed in their minds. When I ask people about their goals, I'm often met with vague replies or uncomfortable silence. "I want to be happy," they might say, or "I want to be successful." But these aren't destinations. They're pleasant but empty words. A worthy destination must be specific, compelling, and personal enough that it pulls you forward like a powerful magnet, even when the winds of circumstance blow against you. Consider the difference between a person who says, "I'd like to travel someday," and one who declares, "I'm going to stand atop the Eiffel Tower on my 40th birthday next year." The first is a wish. The second is a destination with the power to organize one's actions, decisions, and resources. It becomes a compass by which all other choices are measured. The human mind is remarkable in its ability to solve problems and overcome obstacles, but it requires clear instructions. When you establish a worthy destination for your life, your subconscious mind immediately begins working on ways to achieve it, even while you sleep. Your daily actions naturally align with your goal without constant struggle or willpower. I've observed that people who drift through life without direction often find themselves at destinations they never would have chosen consciously. By default, they arrive at the accumulated result of small, unconsidered decisions rather than the fulfillment of a worthy ideal. Think of your life as a great ship. You are its captain. No matter how skillful the crew or how excellent the vessel, without coordinates entered into the navigation system, you'll never arrive at a meaningful port. You'll simply drift, perhaps staying afloat, but never truly sailing toward anything worthwhile. Your worthy destination need not impress others or conform to society's definition of success. It must, however, resonate deeply with your values and excite you enough to fuel the journey through calm and storm alike. The lawyer who works toward establishing a foundation to help underprivileged children, the teacher who aims to create an innovative reading program, the parent who sets out to build a family legacy of love and service. These are all people directed by worthy destinations. Today, I urge you to find quiet time and ask yourself, where am I truly going? What destination would make the journey of my life meaningful? Write it down in clear, compelling terms. Make it specific enough to measure yet inspiring enough to matter. Post it where you'll see it daily. Share it with someone who will support your journey. Remember, ships are safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are for. Set your course toward a worthy destination, and the winds of purpose will fill your sails, carrying you to shores of achievement you may have thought impossible. Your life was meant for more than drifting. It was meant for directed, purposeful sailing toward destinations worthy of your highest potential. Lesson 6. The Quiet Hour. In this bustling world of constant noise and endless distractions, I've discovered that the greatest achievements often spring from moments of deliberate silence. The quiet hour is where true transformation begins. Consider this. All the great thinkers throughout history, from Einstein to Edison, from Aristotle to modern innovators, have cultivated the habit of deliberate solitude. They understood that the mind, like a still pond, reflects truth most clearly when undisturbed by ripples of chaotic thought. You see, we've become a society that equates busyness with productivity. We rush from meeting to meeting, from task to task, our phones constantly buzzing with notifications. But I ask you, is this motion the same as progress? Not at all. Motion is simply movement. Progress is movement in a worthwhile direction. The quiet hour is your appointment with yourself. It's that sacred time, preferably in the early morning before the world awakens, when you sit in peaceful solitude and allow your thoughts to crystallize. This isn't idle daydreaming, it's strategic contemplation. During your quiet hour, solutions to problems will emerge naturally. Ideas will connect in ways they never could amid the chaos of daily life. Your mind, liberated from constant reaction, becomes free to create and innovate. Consider Thomas Edison, who would famously sit in a chair holding steel balls over metal pans. As he drifted toward sleep, the balls would drop, waking him to capture the insights that came in those twilight moments of consciousness. He understood the power of the quiet mind. Start small. Set aside just 15 minutes tomorrow morning. Find a comfortable chair in a peaceful corner. Turn off all electronic devices. Bring only a notebook and pen, then simply sit. Breathe deeply. Let your mind settle. When thoughts arise, note them without judgment. You'll be amazed at what bubbles up from your subconscious when you simply create space for it to speak. Gradually extend this time to 30 minutes, then to a full hour. Make it as essential to your day as eating or sleeping. For in truth, this mental nourishment is just as crucial to your success. The most successful people I've encountered all share this common trait. They protect their thinking time with fierce determination. They recognize that while the world demands their energy, only they can decide where that energy goes. Remember, effectiveness trumps efficiency every time. You can efficiently complete dozens of unimportant tasks, or you can effectively contemplate one important matter that changes everything. The quiet hour isn't just about problem solving. It's when you reconnect with your deeper purpose, when you realign your daily activities with your grandest goals. It's when the noise fades away and your authentic voice emerges. In a world that values constant connection, dare to disconnect, if only for an hour each day. In that sacred silence, you'll find the wisdom, clarity, and direction that noise could never provide. The quiet hour isn't an absence of activity. It's the presence of possibility. Lesson 7. The miracle of directed effort. One of the most profound truths I've discovered in my years of studying successful people is this. Concentrated effort, applied consistently in one direction, creates results that seem almost miraculous to the casual observer. Yet there is no miracle at all, only the natural law of cause and effect working with mathematical precision. Consider the mighty Mississippi River. From its humble beginnings as a small stream in Minnesota, it gradually gathers force until it becomes a powerful current that shapes the very landscape of America. Your efforts follow the same principle. Small, consistent actions, all flowing in one direction, eventually create an unstoppable momentum. Most people fail to achieve their dreams not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they scatter their energies like buckshot rather than focusing them like a laser. They try one thing today, another tomorrow, and wonder why nothing substantial materializes. They mistake activity for achievement. The successful person understands the miracle of directed effort. They select their target carefully, then move toward it with unwavering determination. They don't allow themselves to be distracted by the 1,000 little interruptions that derail the average person every day. Think about this. If you improve just 1% each day in your chosen field, after 1 year, you'll be 37 times better than when you started. That's the power of compound improvement. Small daily efforts don't just add up, they multiply. This principle explains why some people seem to accomplish so much while others, despite being constantly busy, achieve so little. The difference lies in the direction and concentration of effort. The miracle is available to anyone willing to go the extra mile. When you consistently deliver more than expected, you set forces in motion that eventually return to you, multiplied many times over. The marketplace always rewards exceptional service abundantly. Here's something practical you can do today. Identify the 5 most important actions that move you toward your primary goal. These are your high-leverage activities. Commit to performing these 5 critical actions every single day, regardless of how you feel or what distractions arise. This simple discipline, maintained over time, will produce results that will astonish you and everyone around you. I'm reminded of the story of a young woman who wanted to become a successful author. Rather than talking about writing or waiting for inspiration, she committed to writing just 500 words every day without fail. Within 18 months, she had completed 2 books, established a growing readership, and launched a career that would have remained just a dream had she worked in fits and starts like most aspiring writers. The miracle of directed effort isn't flashy. It doesn't announce itself with trumpets and fanfare. It works quietly, steadily, building momentum day by day until suddenly, what once seemed impossible stands accomplished before your eyes. Remember, the water that flows consistently in one channel cuts the deepest path. Focus your efforts, maintain your course, and you too will experience the miracle that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Lesson 8. The courage to begin again. My friends, there's a remarkable truth I've observed throughout my years of studying successful people. The most accomplished people in any field are often those who have failed the most. Isn't that fascinating? We tend to see only their triumphs, their moments of glory, but hidden behind those achievements lies a landscape of setbacks, disappointments, and seeming failures. You see, when life knocks you down, it isn't breaking you, it's rebuilding you. Each setback carries within it the seed of wisdom that, when properly nurtured, grows into future success. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who don't isn't the absence of failure, it's their response to it. Think about it this way. Imagine a young baseball player at bat. He swings and misses. Is he a failure? Not at all. That miss contains valuable information. Perhaps he swung too early or his stance was incorrect. With each miss, he learns something new that brings him closer to connecting with the ball. Thomas Edison, when asked about his thousands of unsuccessful attempts to create the electric light bulb, simply said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." What perspective? What courage to begin again after each disappointment? The most dangerous response to failure isn't the disappointment itself. It's the temptation to quit, to believe you're not good enough, to convince yourself that your dreams are beyond your reach. Nothing could be further from the truth. The only true failure is the failure to try again with the wisdom gained from previous attempts. Here's a simple exercise I encourage you to try. Take a sheet of paper and draw a line down the middle. On one side, list your 3 most significant disappointments or failures. On the other side, write down what you learned from each experience. Then ask yourself, how can I use this wisdom to move forward more intelligently? This simple practice transforms setbacks from dead ends into detours, temporary redirections on your path to success. Consider Abraham Lincoln, who failed in business, suffered a nervous breakdown, and lost 8 elections before becoming one of America's greatest presidents. Or Walt Disney, who was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination, and suffered multiple bankruptcies before creating his entertainment empire. These weren't broken people. They were being rebuilt through their challenges. The courage to begin again isn't just about persistence. It's about persistent learning. Each setback contains a lesson that makes your next attempt smarter and stronger. When you face an obstacle, don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, ask, "What is this teaching me?" My friends, remember this. The oak tree that stands tall against the storm developed its strength through resistance. The diamond that sparkles with brilliance was formed under tremendous pressure. And you, facing your challenges with courage and determination, aren't being broken. You're being forged into something stronger, wiser, and more resilient than before. The courage to begin again may be the most important courage of all. It transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. It turns stumbling blocks into stepping stones, and it reveals that what appeared to be your breaking point was actually your breakthrough moment. Lesson 9. The Mastermind Principle. My friends, I want to share with you today one of the most powerful forces for personal achievement that I've encountered in all my years of studying successful men and women. It's what I call the Mastermind Principle, and it may well be the missing element in your journey toward the life you truly desire. Have you ever noticed how a single match can provide a small flame? Barely enough to see by, but when you bring together many matches, their combined light can illuminate an entire room. So it is with human minds working in harmony toward a definite purpose. No great achievement in history has ever been the work of a single mind acting alone. Behind every Thomas Edison, every Henry Ford, every Marie Curie, stood a collection of minds united in purpose, each contributing their unique talents and perspectives to the whole. This is the mastermind principle in action. When you surround yourself with others who think differently but share your commitment to growth, something magical happens. Ideas combine and recombine in ways that would never occur to any individual. Problems that seemed insurmountable suddenly reveal their solutions. The collective wisdom and energy of the group lifts each member higher than they could rise alone. But choose your associates carefully, for this principle works with equal power in both directions. Negative, doubting minds will pull you toward mediocrity just as surely as positive. Believing minds will draw you toward excellence. As the old saying goes, if you want to fly with eagles, you can't scratch with turkeys. Consider forming your own mastermind group. Identify 4 or 5 people whose character, intelligence, and aspirations you respect. They need not be in your field. In fact, diversity of experience often generates the most valuable insights. Meet regularly with clear purpose. Share challenges. Offer solutions. Hold one another accountable. Andrew Carnegie, once the richest man in America, attributed his fortune not to his own brilliance, but to the combined intelligence of the mastermind he assembled around him. Napoleon Hill, who studied Carnegie and 500 other extraordinarily successful individuals, found this principle at work in virtually every case. Remember, too, that books and recorded wisdom allow you to join a mastermind that transcends time and space. Through reading, you can tap into the greatest minds in human history, inviting Aristotle, Lincoln, Einstein, and countless others into your mental council. Most of us move through life in mental isolation, never realizing how this limits our potential. The thoughts you think alone grow only to the boundaries of your experience. But thoughts shared in a mastermind grow exponentially, fertilized by diverse perspectives and watered by collective wisdom. Today, I challenge you to inventory your associations. Who lifts you up? Who drags you down? Begin consciously constructing your ideal mastermind. Your future self will look back on this decision as a turning point in your journey from where you are to where you truly belong. This is Earl Nightingale reminding you that the mastermind principle isn't just a technique. It's a natural law as certain as gravity. Align yourself with it and watch as achievements once thought impossible become the new normal in your extraordinary life. Lesson 10. The River of Abundance. The world around us exists in a state of limitless plenty. Look at nature. Where there is one seed, thousands can grow. One apple contains multiple seeds, each capable of producing a tree that will bear thousands of apples. This is the natural order of things. The river of abundance flows eternally, yet so many stand on its shores with empty buckets, convinced that there isn't enough to go around. I've observed throughout my life that prosperity isn't rationed by some cosmic force. Rather, it naturally flows toward those who understand its principles and prepare themselves to receive it. The universe isn't playing favorites. It's simply responding to laws as consistent as gravity. What blocks most people from this river of abundance? It's their own thinking. Scarcity thinking is like building a dam across the very river that would otherwise nourish your dreams. When you believe resources are limited, opportunities are few, and success is reserved for others, you've created your own drought. The prepared mind understands that abundance begins with perspective. When you see possibilities where others see problems, when you recognize resources where others see restrictions, you've aligned yourself with the natural flow of prosperity. A farmer doesn't worry whether there will be enough sun or if the laws of growth will work this season. They simply plant, nurture, and expect harvest. Consider how we approach our daily lives. Those living in scarcity constantly ask, "What can I get?" While those aligned with abundance ask, "What can I give?" This fundamental difference determines whether you're swimming against the current or moving with the flow. Giving opens channels through which abundance can return. It's not mystical, it's practical. Those who provide the most value naturally receive the most reward. I recall a shoeshine man in Chicago who understood this principle perfectly. While his competitors offered adequate service for a modest fee, he provided an exceptional experience, complete with conversation, newspaper highlights, and impeccable results. His line was always longest, his tips most generous. He didn't charge more, he simply gave more. The river of abundance flowed directly to his stand while merely trickling to others nearby. To align yourself with this river, begin by examining your thoughts about money, opportunity, and success. Do you see these as scarce resources to be fought over, or abundant flows seeking worthy recipients? Your answer shapes your reality more powerfully than any external circumstance. Start practicing abundance by becoming a source rather than merely a recipient. Share knowledge freely. Offer help generously. Contribute ideas enthusiastically. When you become known as a source of value, the world beats a path to your door. Remember, The river of abundance doesn't respond to wish or want. It responds to alignment with its nature. Like electricity flowing through the path of least resistance, prosperity flows toward those who understand its principles and create conducive conditions for its expression. The river is flowing. It has always been flowing. Your task isn't to make it flow, but to remove the barriers of limited thinking that have kept you from its nourishing waters. Stand not with an empty bucket by the shore, but wade in with purpose, confident that there's more than enough for everyone who understands the principles of this eternal flow. Lesson 11. The power of persistence. Life is much like the chiseled masterpiece that emerges from a sculptor's determined hands. When the sculptor first approaches that block of marble, he doesn't see what needs to be added. He clearly envisions what must be removed to reveal the beauty within. The same is true for you and challenges you've faced. Those difficult times weren't breaking you. They were revealing you. Every chip, every cut, every moment of resistance was simply removing what didn't belong in your final form. This is the magnificent truth I want to share with you today. Persistence is not just continuing on your path. It's the very force that transforms you into something remarkable. I remember meeting a young man named James who had lost his job, his savings, and nearly his hope during an economic downturn. He told me, "Earl, I feel completely broken." But 6 months later, when our paths crossed again, his entire demeanor had changed. "I wasn't broken," he said with clear eyes. "I was being rebuilt into something stronger than before." James had discovered what all achievers eventually learn. Persistence is the ability to maintain action regardless of feelings. Champions persist through discomfort, through doubt, and through temporary defeat. They understand that the universe rewards persistence above all other qualities. Think of water for a moment. Gentle, flowing water. Over time, it can cut through solid rock, not through force, but through persistent action. So too can your consistent efforts overcome seemingly immovable obstacles in your life. The trouble with most folks isn't that they aim too high and miss, but that they aim too low and hit. Or worse, they don't aim at all. Persistence requires a target worthy of your dedication. When you have a goal that ignites your spirit, persistence comes naturally. Here's a simple truth to remember. The person who persists cannot be defeated. They may be delayed. They may be detoured, but they cannot be detoured. But they cannot be denied if they simply refuse to quit. This is how ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things. Consider this exercise. Identify the one area in your life where you've been tempted to give up. Now, commit to just 5 more attempts before reconsidering. 5 more job applications. 5 more conversations. 5 more tries at that skill you're developing. Often, breakthrough lies just beyond the point where most would quit. Oak trees grow strong, not in spite of the winds that buffet them, but because of them. Those winds cause the roots to drive deeper, to grip the earth more firmly. Your challenges are developing in you an unshakable character that fair weather could never produce. You weren't broken during those difficult times. You were being rebuilt. The old materials that couldn't withstand life's pressures were being replaced with stronger ones. The faulty foundations were being reinforced. The unnecessary was being stripped away. And so, persist. Not with grim determination, but with the quiet confidence of someone who understands that difficulties are not sent to obstruct, but to instruct. They come not to break you, but to reveal the unbreakable within you. Lesson 12. The Phoenix Principle. Life has a remarkable way of testing us, friend. Just when we think we've figured things out, just when we believe we're standing on solid ground, the earth shifts beneath our feet. But I want to share something powerful with you today, something I call the Phoenix Principle. You see, throughout history, the phoenix has symbolized rebirth and renewal. This magnificent creature doesn't fear the flames. It embraces them, knowing that from the ashes it will rise again, more splendid than before. And so it is with you. Those difficulties you faced weren't meant to break you. They were designed to rebuild you. Every challenge, every setback, Every moment of doubt has been carefully crafted to strengthen your character and prepare you for greater things. Think of a sword being forged. The metal must endure the intense heat of the forge, the pounding of the hammer, and the shock of cold water. To the metal, this process might seem like punishment, but the blacksmith sees the magnificent weapon emerging. You are that sword in the making. I've spoken with countless people who, when looking back at their most difficult periods, recognize those moments as the very times that defined their character and redirected their path toward success. What appeared as destruction was actually construction in disguise. Consider the story of a young woman I met in Chicago. After losing her job, her home, and nearly her hope, she discovered talents within herself she never knew existed. Today, she runs a thriving business helping others navigate similar challenges. I wasn't broken, she told me. I was being completely rebuilt from the foundation up. This is the essential truth I want you to grasp today. Life doesn't happen to you. It happens for you. It happens for you. Every experience is contributing to your development, preparing you for opportunities you cannot yet imagine. When you embrace this perspective, something miraculous occurs. You stop viewing difficulties as obstacles and start seeing them as the necessary components of your personal evolution. Your resistance diminishes and your resilience grows. Diamonds are created under extreme pressure. Pearls form around irritants. The most magnificent trees often grow in the most challenging soil. Nature understands the principle of transformation through adversity, and so must you. The next time life presents you with a challenge, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What is this building in me?" This simple shift in perspective transforms you from victim to architect of your own character. Your character, after all, is the foundation upon which all lasting success is built. It's the one thing no one can take from you, and the one asset that appreciates with every challenge properly faced. So stand tall, my friend. Look back at what you've already overcome and recognize the strength it has built within you. You weren't broken, you were being rebuilt, and this reconstruction has prepared you for heights you never dreamed possible. The phoenix within you is ready to soar. All that remains is for you to spread your wings,